I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on GBN, we're breaking the silence on mental health and generational trauma. We're talking to a terrific author. His name is Eric Shawn Bradley, and he has penned a powerful new book. It is called Traumatized: Breaking the Silence on Mental Health in the Black Community. Can we recover? This powerful book exposes the covert cycles of pain, addiction, and systemic oppression, demanding readers reframe strength not as silent agony, but as the intrepidity to seek healing and change. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him on TV today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Eric, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's
Yes,
such an important book, and you've given such an insightful look at the issue. The book addresses the covert impairments of generational trauma. Talk to us about what that means and how you personally began to unmask these covert impairments in your own life.
yes. Well, it took me a long time to realize something, and that was that the life that I'm going to use the word chose, but when you speaking of a 13-year-old child,
Mhm.
his mind is not developed enough where he can choose properly, and make sound decisions and choices. But I embarked on a life of crime and drugs, and it was a life changing experience, but it seemed like it was something that I had to go through
Mhm.
to get to this point in my life.
Yeah.
But now I look at it as purpose. I was given a second chance. I served a long prison sentence,
Mm.
and my judge gave me compassionate release. There was a doctor that he just basically told the truth about sickle cell. I also suffer from sickle cell,
Mm.
and sickle cell disease has stemmed was like the root of my drug issue.
Mhm.
But and now that I'm home and rebuilding my life, what I mean, I see the condition hasn't really changed much.
Mm.
And in New York City alone right now, it's being reported that it's the highest gang membership ever.
Mm.
And I look at that as a result of guys like me that have lived a life in the crime, and I played a part in the destruction of my community. So
Mm.
now I'm wishing to rebuild, and I wrote this book to actually get the message out to people, not what not to be like.
Mm.
Everybody in this day and age, like in my community and in other communities, is so busy at this present time, used to glorifying and celebrating this type of lifestyle. But I see it differently now. I
Mm.
want to be able to put my word out there through my life experiences,
Mhm.
so I can change the narrative and mentor the youth and guide the youth into a different direction, not make the choices or not take the road that I took. Growing up, you know, um, we used to make fun of the so-called square, or the young man or young woman that was walking the straight and narrow, that wasn't in the crime. You know what I mean? It was a big thing to go to jail and commit crime and this and that. But that's a misconception. That was a sickness
Mm.
that's deeply rooted, and improper role models, like all our positive images were disappearing,
Mm.
and we looked up to the drug dealer, or the robber, the killer, and that it's I became something that I despise so much.
Mhm. Mm.
But since I've been given a second chance in life, the doctors gave me a life expectancy of 40 because of sickle cell.
Mm.
So I was living a hopeless life the whole time. I didn't
Mm.
realize it at the time, But when I got arrested and went to prison, I was allowed to sit down. God allowed me to sit down and reflect. And in my reflection, I came up with it's I'm not cursed.
Hmm.
I'm blessed, and I'm given a second chance. He's protected me through attempts on my life, sickle cell, because I was expected to die, wouldn't live past 40. I had attempts on my life several times.
Hmm.
Um, and I just witnessed a lot of violence. I suffered from PTSD
Hmm.
and anxiety and bipolar. All of this was environmental.
Hmm.
The environment, I became a product of my environment, and the influence from the environment was more powerful than my parents,
Hmm.
because I can't blame it on my parents because they raised me right. They instilled in me good morals and values. But
Hmm.
by the time I was 13 or 14 years old, going out into the streets, the draw from the negative influence was more powerful than that.
Yeah.
And so now I look back and I realize what was missing in my community, in my environment, that's still missing in the community environment. So now I wish to provide what I needed at that time for a 13, 14-year-old boy when I decided to start and go into and embark into a life of crime.
Hmm.
So now the moral of the story is, the youth in my community don't have uh, positive role models, mentorship,
Hmm.
guidance, proper guidance. So they are joining the gangs and they
Hmm.
are selling drugs and committing crime. And it's just a culture of destruction, death and destruction. That's the only, all of my friends that I came up with involved in the drug selling and crime are either dead or in prison.
Hmm.
I'm blessed to just be here, sitting here talking to you
Yeah.
right now, Logan.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. You are
yeah,
blessed. It's a dangerous road that you travel on when you go down the wrong path, no doubt.
yeah.
But you are on the right path now, and you are making good, and you are trying to help the community and help people understand what the Black community in particular has suffered through and the scars that people bear because of it. What do you hope readers take away from the book?
Well, I want them to take away that it is possible for change,
Mhm.
first and foremost. Change and having faith in God and redemption. I want them to take away that uh, it's not uh, natural for us in my community, that this is a false narrative, so to speak. I'm not saying that it don't exist or that my story is not unique, but I think what's different about it is that I'm projecting. I want to push a message that it's not to be glorified. We celebrate in the wrong image.
Mhm.
The guy, the criminal, the killer. We putting him up, and we're not speaking about, we're not bringing to the forefront the positive image, the positive role models, or even the kids that's going to school and staying away from crime and staying away from gangs.
Mhm.
So I want them to see that the narrative is false, and
Mhm.
that a life of crime is not. It only leads to death and destruction.
Yeah.
It only leads to death and destruction. Yet there are some that is able to change.
Right.
Change. But the main point is not even to go down that road, because not everybody makes it. Not everybody make it out.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about speechlessness as a cycle of pain. Talk to us about that.
Is speechlessness?
Yeah.
Well, um, it's somebody, we need a voice.
Hmm.
We need to be heard. We need to be seen on a world platform.
Yep.
Not only the bad side of it, but we want to start seeing the positive. I want to breathe a little bit of positive energy into the algorithm, into the universe, and I want people to follow that. I
Mm.
want people that don't have a voice to be able to recognize that there is someone out there that cares and can show you an example of someone changing from negative to positive.
Mm. Absolutely. Do you feel that the needs for mental health in the Black community is different than other communities?
Yes, yes,
Tell
yes.
us about that and why
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
so.
yeah. That's multifaceted.
Hmm.
Um, from my point of view, therapy and everything is needed, but I only feel like that now. I only think like that now after I started going to therapy and realized that my way of life was more than just something I delved into the chose or how to live or wanted to be gang or wanted to be down and be with the crowd
Hmm.
but typically youngsters in my community don't see that it is a mental health issue. Don't
Hmm.
it's almost like taboo to say that um, you have a mental health problem in my community, and I think that we have to remove the stigma. We have to know that um, there is a situation, there is a condition, a
Hmm.
mental health condition that goes along with this, and that the mental health condition of it needs more attention paid to it. From the outside forces, instead of the outside forces condemning us or just paying attention to the actions and what's the situation and what's going on. Look at it on a more deeper perspective and say that, okay, there's a mental health issue here as well.
Hmm.
Instead of locking the majority of us up and throwing away the
Yeah.
key, look a little further into that child, because right now, um, I started
Mhm.
out into the streets at 13, 14 years old. So that's a long time. I'm 58 now.
Yeah.
And I served 10 years in prison, but I had more time. The judge, he let me out on compassionate release.
Mm.
However, there's overwhelming. I just was seeing just last week a 13-year-old kid, a 16-year-old kid walked up on a 13-year-old kid and blew his brains out.
Mm.
Broad daylight, early in the morning, going to the school bus.
Yeah.
But now he's 16 years old. He's not even an adult. And then the loss of life is 13. It's
Yeah.
getting younger and younger.
Yeah.
Even though
And
it
in
was
many
young.
ways, both
Yes,
lives are lost. The
yes,
shooter and the victim, their both lives are over.
right,
One's now a convicted murderer or likely will be,
right.
and then the other one's life is completely gone. Lots of problems. You highlight them in your book. You've done a great job
Thank
on breaking the silence, which
you.
of
Yes,
course is the name of your book. It's called Breaking the Silence on Mental
yes,
Health in the Black Community. Can we recover? It is a profound and necessary conversation on generational trauma, resilience, and the intrepid journey toward healing. Eric, thank you so much for joining us here today.
yes, yeah. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I just want to say one thing, Logan. I'm
Sure.
gonna make it quick. I
Yep.
came up with an idea, like the work. I'm forming a nonprofit organization, but I
Hmm.
came up with an idea how to reach the masses of the people in a quicker way. Now I'm looking at this situation here in the present day. Everything is internet. So I came up with an idea for a podcast. Can I send it to you?
Sure.
Can I send it
Absolutely.
to you?
Absolutely.
Let me have your contact information where I can send you it. I have a proposal. I'm gonna send it to you, and this way you can read it. I'm just getting it out
Yep.
there. Maybe you know where or who hands to put it in.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. My email is easy. It's logancrawford@gmail. So just send that to me and I'll be happy to look at it. And I appreciate your time, your insight, and your wisdom today. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford for the Global Book Network. So long for now.
Yes. Thank you so long, man. Have a good day, bro.